Hey, honeys. Hey, my loves, my family. What's up? Wagwan. Wagwan. I need to start greeting y'all in my dialect now. Okay. Anyway, so welcome. I'm Mademoiselle, and welcome to my channel if you're new. So most of you know I have relocated to Jamaica from America, from the US of A, and I just want to have a conversation with my folks. Well, this is for everybody, but this may gravitate more towards those who have had the experiences that I've had living in America. I'm just trying to see how to phrase this. Well, the purpose of this video. So I decided to make a video on this topic because it's kind of like a timing thing. So there's this woman who was detailing her experience leaving America to go to South Africa. Her name is Ashley in Africa on YouTube if you want to search for her, but she's doing an awesome job with her videos. But one of her latest videos is called, let me pull it up. One of her latest videos is called Heal Before Going to Africa. And in this video, she's detailing her experience. I think she's doing a series. So the first part of the series is her kind of documenting her racial encounters and things of that nature in America. And so I'm gonna kind of probably jump ahead of her a little bit. But the title of that video, and also something else that kind of just sparked the need to make this video for me is this conversation and this post that I've seen about this beef between Black Americans and people in the Caribbean and people in Africa, and this beef and all of this stuff. So I wanted to make a video addressing this because being abroad for over a year now, there's certain understandings that you come to, which is very, 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 very important. But again, this is a timing thing, so I decided to make this video. So Black people need to heal before moving abroad. Black people need to heal, period. But you need to definitely heal before going abroad. I made an Instagram post about this a while back because I wanted to address, because people think that leaving their said country or whatever their situation alone is going to help them or help them feel better, when that's really not the case. You need to do your work. You need to heal. You're going to play yourself bad if you go somewhere thinking that going there alone is going to just solve all your problems. If you don't know how to manage your finances, you're still going to have problems abroad. If you don't know how to vet people and partners, and know how to have healthy standing relationships, you're going to have the same problems abroad. And then I said some other things, but it's like you have to do your work before you take that step. Now, taking that step prior might help you come to terms with some things. It might help or aid your healing process. But again, if you want to give yourself the best possible chances of surviving abroad, thriving abroad, you need to heal from your traumas before doing so. And I say this because, well, Black people, we either knowingly or unknowingly carry trauma. Most of us do. We carry a lot of trauma. whether we recognize it as that or not, the vast majority of us do to some extent. I'm trying to fix my hair. And so what happens when you carry trauma, or when you haven't dealt with these things, what happens is you project them. You project your traumas onto everybody. And what happens is, well, of course, we know about the racial trauma. For a lot of women, there's also gender trauma. And so what happens is, what we will see will be that people will project these traumas onto these particular groups, whether they are not have imposed these things on them or not. So when you don't do that work, in your mind, everybody is out to get you. Like, everything has to be interpreted, or everything has to be psychoanalyzed, and all of this stuff. And you only end up creating more trauma and problems for yourself, because you haven't grasped the tools on how to deal with these things. And we're just now getting to a place in society, kind of sort of, where we are actually able to kind of put words to things and attach phrases and things like that. Or this is sexism, or this is misogyny, or this is racism, or this is ableism. And that's great. That's fine that we are able to name these things and start to create like dialect and dialogue around them. But knowing words and phrases and all of that stuff is not necessarily healing. It's a starting place. It's a starting place for you to acknowledge what things are, but they're not necessarily, that's not where it ends. Like, you still have to do your work to heal from those things. Even though you have a name for it, you're able to discuss it eloquently, that doesn't mean that you've dealt with it. Okay? And I think that's where a lot of the clashing happens. And I want to get into why this will affect people's relationships with other black people in the diaspora, or black people in other parts of the world, is because we haven't dealt with our traumas. We understand our traumas. And these people also may recognize it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they share your lived experience. Black people in America have a different lived experience than people in Jamaica or people in Africa. I'm not talking about the people who migrate from these places to Africa, to Jamaica, to the U.S. But if you are transplanting yourself elsewhere, especially in a black country, and you are perplexed as to why they just don't understand or are able to engage with you in that manner, they have a different lived experience. Is their experience affected by those things? Of course. But again, we are just now starting to get the dialogue to discuss and explain these things. We're just now getting it for a vast majority of us. We're just not able to start to phrase and put these things into words. And if you have somebody who has a completely different lived experience than you, they may not be familiar with that terminology or will understand that terminology, because it's not their lived experience. So, like I said, what happens is, if we come to these places projecting our experiences onto other people, you're going to create this energy and this animosity towards you, as opposed to fostering like relationships first and building that context as you get to know people, or you get invested in your community, and so on and so forth. It's gonna be that lack of understanding. Like, you have to be prepared for that. Like, they're not, for the most part, not going to understand. You have that. You also have the media and how they portray black people on both ends. Um, I know, like, it's weird because, like, I know Jamaica advertises, well, not advertises. I think they tapped into like the Rastafarian culture and things like that. That's how it's portrayed out in the world, and that's what people identify with Jamaica. But coming here, it's probably gonna be different. Like it's gonna be a different experience. Like it's a different type of treatment to people who live in the Rastafarian community and things like that. That's not Jamaica. It's a part of the culture, but it's not all that it's made up to be. So if that's all we're identifying Jamaica as, then one might assume that's what it's like. And so we come to these places and project these things onto people who don't live that experience. Same thing with tourism. If you're coming to Jamaica as a tourist, that's a very different experience than living here. That is a completely different experience. And I think this is why people get thrown off, where they have like this romanticized thing that like everywhere they go, like people just gonna be skidding and grinning and happy and welcome to see you, and it's like rolling out the red carpet. These people don't know you. These people just encountered you. They don't know. Their world is not gonna revolve around you because they have their own lives. They have their own experiences. Like you can't come with those projections and expectations, because this is where then people go back and play, oh, it is not how I thought it was, and people were so rude. That's not, they have their own, they're their own individual beings. And that's why it's like we have to work on that othering thing, because like we like to other each other, like them over there, or those. We know we the same people that just grew up in different parts of the world, but this is how this happens, because we have these experiences and these expectations, and it's also vice versa. People have these understandings or expectations of African Americans, or they may encounter 1, 2, or 3 of us and may have a good experience or a negative experience. However, in their mind, this is how we are. This is who we is. As opposed to, because those are different lived experiences. Those are different lived experiences. So there's always going to be some, it's not going to be like a bed of roses. And not saying it's not going to be necessarily negative, but you have to let go of like your projections and expectations off of other individuals. And then it's like, don't stop yourself from going and experiencing a place because you think quote unquote people don't like us. Even if they don't, so what? Like what? Who are these people to you? So and so, I'm not going to Africa because they don't like us. That's a lie. That's a lie. All them millions of people over there, you think you can't attribute like that one negative encounter or something that you read on the internet towards a whole population of people. That don't make no sense. It don't make sense. Okay, it's illogical. It's illogical. Jamaicans so rude. They so mean. No, they're not. No, they will. They will get there, but it's like, as opposed to, let's see, 1 or 2 negative encounters, I've had 25 good ones. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, I don't know why we do that, because it's the same thing from where we live at. You're not going to like everybody in your community. You're going to have negative encounters with people in your community. Like, that's human nature. That's what it is. You're not going to get along with everybody. You can't attribute that to a whole population of people, though. and say, oh, I had this one negative experience while I was visiting there as a tourist, and then say that's how people are there, and you ain't never lived and actually function within that country or community. Like you, that's a different experience. Visiting somewhere as a tourist and living there is a very, very, very different experience. It is not the same. And again, these people have lives outside of you. Like it's like you go somewhere and expect people to drop everything. Like they got their own thing going. Like stop doing that. That's not how this works. That's not how it works. Like that's the problem. That's yeah. Anyway, but it's unrealistic for people to just don't go there with unrealistic expectations. Because you're gonna play yourself. You're gonna play yourself, and then you're gonna have in your mind, oh, they don't like us. Oh, I had a bad experience over there. My experience has been beautiful. So it's like all about the mind frame and the energy that you function in. This is why it's so important for you to do your healing work. Even if you don't have intentions of leaving and moving abroad, your life will be 10 times better if you acknowledge and deal with the traumas that you have encountered, which you likely have, especially if you are a black person. Especially if you are a black person in America. And even if your traumas in America are going to be different from traumas from somebody in Jamaica. Like, you understand? It's not to say that people don't understand or will not or don't have empathy. It's just going to be a different lived experience. Okay? That's what it is. It's going to be a different lived experiences. I, for the life of me, can't understand why people would want to leave this beautiful country and go live in America, but that's their experience. They've had their traumas here in Jamaica, so they may want to seek happiness elsewhere. I have to understand that, even though I wouldn't, that's not my lived experience. I have to understand for some people it's an economic thing, or they want to, it's an economic opportunity, or they just may have had a negative experience with living in Jamaica and they think it's better for them elsewhere. That's what, if they can do that, that's probably what they're going to do if they have the opportunity to. And that's another thing, if they have the opportunity to do so. So you can't, you see, you hear it coming out. You can't manage. All right, but so that's, you can't go projecting your experience on everybody. They just not gonna understand. Like I know like some Jamaicans will say, well, oh, racism is not in Jamaica, it's more of a classism thing. And black people in America know that classism is a product of racism. But again, that's not their experience dealing with racism the way that we deal with it. They don't encounter white people the way we do. They don't encounter white people. White people come here, they smoke their weed, they get burnt up in the sun, they happy, and then they come back over there and torment us. That's different lived experiences. Their encounters are going to be different. So you have to have that level of understanding. It's like you have to, understanding things is gonna make or break you. Like you have to have some fostering of understanding to really get, even though to you it might piss you off. It's like, I don't understand how they black people and they don't get like why they don't hate white people like we do, or why they have this affinity for America or white people. It's gonna be a different experience, honey. It's a different upbringing, even though you may get triggered by it because one, you haven't dealt with your traumas. You might get triggered by it, but again, that's not their lived experience. Those are your triggers you got to deal with and not project them onto the world. Okay? Same thing with men. A lot of women carry a lot of projection towards men or towards the opposite sex if you date the opposite sex. You have to go deal with those traumas. You can't carry that around with you for the rest of your life. You have to figure out how to deal with it and how to encounter and how to interact with people on a healthier level. because you always going to carry that anger and animosity. You can put all the names you want to on it. You can call it this, you can call it that. But at the end of the day, you still have to go deal with that you have encountered and learn how to move differently and operate differently. Okay? Because that's what's going to matter. That's what's going to make your life better at the end of the day. Okay? So, that's my spiel. All right? Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the bell notifications if you are not seeing my videos. If you are interested in moving to Jamaica, Black Expats and Repats, we're online on Facebook. We are building a website to help people through the process, through the expatriation process. Y'all know I got my residency or my work permit, so I have that business registered. And in time, I'm still working on my other one, but things are coming along. So thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all next time. Peace and love.